Imagine drifting through the Permian seas 270 million years ago. The water is dim, the current slow, and a halo of plankton glows in silted light. A small fish pauses, catching its breath. Then the water pressure changes. A shape approaches, a shark-like silhouette, smooth and confident. It turns, mouth closed, giving nothing away, until it doesn't. The jaw splits open and a spiral of teeth unfurls like a steel blossom. This is Helicoprion, the buzzsaw shark, a predator armed with evolution's strangest blade. No rows of replaceable teeth, just a single coiled whorl, sharpened by every meal. Prey don't flee. They are reeled inward, drawn along the spiral and carved to certainty. The first touch is not a bite, but a pull, suction guiding flesh onto bone. The whorl shears forward, slicing clean through cartilage and scale. Where other hunters snap, Helicoprion whines, and the ocean obeys. Armor means nothing when the blade never stops renewing. Speed means little when the strike is also a trap. In a world of gaping jaws, this was a predator that carried a weapon inside a weapon. Tonight the sea is quiet, but the spiral is patient. It waits behind a curtain of silt, a phantom among shadows. When the school returns, the water will whisper, and the buzzsaw will bloom. Welcome to the moment before the cut. A face that looks like a shark, and a mouth that invents a new kind of fear. This is Helicoprion, and the Permian Sea is about to be edited. The Permian oceans were a crucible of change. Armored fish had vanished, and primitive sharks carved their niches among reefs and shallows. Yet in this shifting world, Helicoprion emerged with a weapon unseen before, a mouth turned into a machine. Its buzzsaw of teeth was not for show. It was the defining feature of its survival. Unlike most sharks, Helicoprion left behind no skeletal body, only the fossilized spiral of teeth. This single remnant tells the story of a predator unlike any other. Each new tooth grew at the center of the spiral, pushing older ones outward, forming a coil that never stopped sharpening. The result was a natural saw, honed with every bite, always ready to cut. Prey faced a choice they never survived. Small fish, squid-like cephalopods, and soft-bodied creatures swam innocently until the whirl pulled them in. Once caught, the spiral dragged the victim deeper into the jaws, slicing as it went. No matter how hard the prey struggled, the saw pulled tighter, ensuring the kill. Helicoprion itself was not the fastest hunter, nor the most armored. Its advantage lay in design. Where speed failed, precision succeeded. Where brute force waned, the spiral endured. Every bite was a trap, every strike a carving motion that prey could not escape. The seas of the Permian carried echoes of this design. Schools shifted their movements, scattering at shadows. Cephalopods darted to the seabed, burrowing in panic. Yet none of these defenses proved reliable. The spiral worked on all, turning the ocean into an arena where every swim might be the last. The whirl itself was an evolutionary gamble. Some believed it sat inside the lower jaw, coiled inward like a trap, while others imagined it turning outward like a circular blade. Wherever it rested, one truth remained. It functioned as a guillotine, and evolution refined it into a weapon of inevitability. Prey in the Permian seas had evolved speed, shells, and schooling strategies, but none anticipated a predator that pulled them into a spiral. Unlike open jaws that clamped and released, this saw dragged them deeper, every motion cutting more precisely than the last. What began as suction ended as slicing, and the sea floor carried fragments as proof. Other predators hunted with brute force, relying on rows of teeth that cracked and regrew. Helicoprion broke the mold. It kept its arsenal intact, building a weapon that grew sharper with every strike. Each tooth added to the coil became a notch in a blade, a record of kills etched into bone. When Helicoprion struck, the event was both sudden and silent. A flicker of shadow, a rush of water, then the spiral unfolded. For the victim, there was no escape. The first brush of the whirl hooked them, and the jaws snapped shut around the saw's curve. The ocean itself became a grinding wheel, and life ended in spirals. Even larger prey were not safe. The world did not merely cut soft flesh. It sheared through cartilage, cracked scales, and sliced joints. Bones splintered, shells shattered, and creatures that thought themselves too large discovered that size meant little against a blade that never stopped. The Permian seas were alive with competition. Early sharks prowled reefs with speed, while strange reptiles tested the shallows. Yet Helicoprion carved its niche with surgical precision. Its weapon made it less of a chaser and more of an executioner, striking with certainty instead of pursuit. Schools of fish shifted their behavior in its presence. Some darted close to reefs, hoping sharp turns might save them. Others swam in tight formations, relying on confusion. But the spiral defeated these strategies. The suction of its jaws broke formations, scattering prey before the saw decided their fate. Rivals existed but rarely challenged it. Armored fish were in decline, trilobites fading into history, and primitive sharks avoided direct conflict. Fossils suggest that Helicoprion occupied a unique role, not just as hunter but as specialist. Its weapon allowed it to dominate prey others could not reach, filling a niche no competitor dared. The buzzsaw jaws left marks on history. Fossilized shells show grooves, evidence of slicing bites that cut too clean to belong to ordinary teeth. Every spiral fossil found tells a story of a machine designed by nature, a predator that turned hunger into geometry. Its dominance stretched across oceans, from shallow continental shelves to deeper basins. Wherever prey swam, the spiral followed, drifting with patience and striking with precision. For nearly 20 million years, the Permian seas carried the shadow of this predator, and the silence it created was louder than any roar. But even rulers cannot outlast the tides of change. As the Permian drew to its end, oceans shifted, reefs collapsed, and ecosystems fractured under massive extinctions. Helicoprion, once dominant, faced dwindling prey and vanishing habitats. The spiral weapon, perfect in its age, could not save it from starvation. Slowly, the buzzsaw sharks disappeared from the record, leaving behind only coils of teeth locked in stone. No skeletons remained, only the spiral, a fossil echo of a predator both real and mysterious. To paleontologists, each world was a riddle, a blueprint for an animal that ruled through silence. Yet extinction did not erase its influence. The concept of specialized jaws, of weaponized feeding strategies, lived on in the sharks that followed. Evolution borrowed ideas, crafting new hunters with teeth designed for slicing, tearing, and crushing. The buzzsaw itself was gone, but its shadow lingered in every ocean predator since. For those who imagine the Permian seas, Helicoprion is more than a curiosity. It is a reminder that nature's experiments are sometimes both bizarre and brilliant, terrifying and precise. To encounter it would have been to face a nightmare shaped like a spiral, a predator unlike any seen before or since. And so the story closes where it began, with a shadow in the murky water, a mouth opening, and a spiral unfolding. To the prey, it was the last shape they would ever see. To us, it remains the fossil of fear itself, a saw carved by evolution into the heart of the sea. If this dive into the Permian seas and the mystery of Helicoprion has sparked your imagination, don't let it end here. Like this video to share the story of nature's strangest shark. Drop a comment with your thoughts on the buzzsaw jaw, and subscribe for more encounters with the forgotten predators of prehistory. The ocean still hides countless tales, and together we'll bring them back to life, spiral by spiral, shadow by shadow. Stay curious, stay adventurous, and join me next time as we dive into another ancient beast that once ruled our planet's wild past.